Hello, hello. We are so happy to be with you today. I'm Rachel Archelaus, founder of the Intuitive Art Academy and many more things that we will discuss. This is Carrie Roldan, your business BFF, and so much more. And we are happy to be live with you today. Last week, I was feeling some up-leveling resistance. And Carrie and I have actually been going through a bit of that this week together. But we want to talk to you today about that, but about your vision and what your vision means, how to find it, how to connect with it, how to start realizing it. We want to share our new vision with you because we are growing and you are coming with us. You helped us build this thing. So this is going to be an exciting live stream and I welcome you to participate. You can put your comments and questions in the chat and we will read them. And yeah, I don't think we've talked about vision before. So this is exciting.
How have we never? I mean, I didn't know what we were talking about today. I literally showed up like 30 seconds ago. And I'm super excited that we're talking about this because at the end of the day, I'm trying to decide what matters most. Is it my vision or is it my feeling? It's both, right? It is aligning those things, but like this is super important to everything that we do and everything that you guys do. It is one of the things that I do inside of Rachel's programs is like I host a monthly call on vision casting where we spend time holding the energy of each other's visions and helping each other and ourselves to grow our vision and to be in connection, to align with the feeling of that vision. So yeah, it's something obviously I'm super duper passionate about. And ironically, something that I didn't think I was very good at. Like early in this process, early in my becoming airy fairy, hippie granola, spiritual, all the things that I am, I had trouble visualizing anything. I didn't realize that I was a total visionary. So if you are someone who is freaked out by the idea of having to have a vision, you're not alone. Don't worry, we're here.
Yeah, it's so funny because when I think of you, that's what I think of. And I think vision and leadership are combined.
Yep.
You really can't be a leader unless you have vision, because then you don't know where you're leading anyone or yourself, right? So also I want to say, vision doesn't have to be visual. I am not good at visualizing either. And I have more of a feeling or of a collection of components that I know feel a certain way to me. And I have a list of what my vision includes, but just recently, before that, it was really in my head, in my body, it was like a feeling. And as the years have gone on, I've gotten much clearer about it. And what's cool to me is that, I think your purpose is whatever makes you feel best, right? Your purpose is to live your best life. It doesn't have to be of a thing of service necessarily. Everything is of service, basically. So for me, when I'm thinking about this vision that I have that's like been with me my whole life, but I couldn't articulate it really until now, it's like, oh, there's that feeling of this is what I'm supposed to be doing. But because I've let go that I need to do anything, it is more genuine. I'm not doing anything because I think I have to. This is absolutely the most authentic expression of me. And I think that is where vision is super empowering because it's not artificial. It's not a should, right? So I feel like there's some maturity that vision also has where like it's about you. It's just about you. And yes, it's probably going to impact the world in an incredible way you can't even imagine, but it still comes from you.
I love that you said vision doesn't have to be visual. I think for me early on, that was my like roadblock. I was a total visionary because I had a knowing about things. Now, bless you, Rachel. I got knowings. I had things. I would get excited about an idea, and I couldn't necessarily paint you a picture of it, but I could cast a vision of what was possible. And I think that right there, that like for like where Rachel and I are both saying our vision actually was like anchored inside of us. It wasn't behind our eyeballs necessarily, but it was like something that like you get a feeling, you feel conviction or excitement or something. For me, it was just like, I know it. I know it's possible. Wouldn't that be amazing? And it got me to want to talk about it more. For some people, maybe they want to journal about it or do something else, but a feeling got me wanting to engage with an idea. And that's it. Or an idea gave me a feeling that got me wanting to engage with a feeling. Doesn't matter.
Yes. Yeah. And Yehuda is saying, amazing topic, so needed, especially before the Kabbalist New Year. Yay! Starting in 2 weeks. Need clarity of what is my vision that I block myself from seeing, even in my readings. Yeah. I think this is such a good point, and I'm so glad that you brought it up because I feel like, right, it's a seed. We're more than likely born knowing what theme, at least, we want to play out in this lifetime and what kind of impact we want to have, etc. And our limiting beliefs can make blind spots so that it feels really unclear, especially when we really want to know. But I think there's a little bit of a backdoor that has helped me get to it anyway. And sorry for the sniffling. It's knowing that I had this kind of surrender moment a few weeks ago where I felt really complete. I felt like, okay, I've always felt like I was going to be this big name in the world, but if this is all I get to be, if this, iteration of me with the clients that I've already had, whatever I've already done in my life, if this is it for me, I'm really satisfied with that. The impact is going to trickle out in whatever way it wants to. I don't need more to be more. I don't need to be anything more. I'm not striving for anything. I don't need to prove anything. I don't need to have more money. I'm good. I've never felt that before. I've always felt like there's more, there's more, and there's more. I'm like a very forward-thinking person, even though I love, being in the moment. I just always have that like, oh yeah, well, we're moving towards something. And so for that to happen, I didn't plan for it to happen, but I just was in the process of like, I don't know, living and accepting myself more. And I just had that moment. And I think that's what let my vision come in, because then it was from a very pure place of like, oh, like, well, yeah, if I don't need to be or do or have anything for anyone else, there's room now for my naturalness to come up in an even bigger way. And you guys know me, I'm always really authentic. So to get to those deeper levels, you got to give something up. You got to give up that fight, the limiting belief, the struggle, the need to prove, like that's got to go. And surrendering into that you are perfected at this very moment is a really good way to do it, even though I didn't do that consciously. It just I allowed it to happen. But the other thing is, when you are looking for your vision, you're probably not looking in the right place, right? You're probably asking, what can I do to improve the world? What can I do to affect change? How can I bring more light to the world? that's all exterior focused questioning. Instead, you could say, oh, well, if I were left to my own devices, if no one needed help, what would I want to do? And that can open up that blind spot, because frankly, everyone's connected to source or God. Everyone has their own resources. No one needs your help. No one needs to be changed. It's really, you are here to unlock your own self and to do that in the way that most fulfills you. And I'm really shocked by the vision that has come to me so clearly, in that it is totally me. No one would bat an eye at it, but yet it was hard for me to find. It was hard for me to allow in such a cohesive way, because a lot of the things are weird, though not here. They're not weird here, but like my old brain would have categorized them as that and therefore suppressed that knowledge from me. So it's really about self-acceptance and feeling satisfied in who you are and what you've accomplished right now that allows you to get more.
So if you're here with us now, or you're watching us on replay, if there was nobody who needed any help, what would you want to do? If your purpose wasn't to help others or be of service, but just to selfishly do what's fun, what feels good, what would be interesting. Another way that I think about it is if I won the lottery. So I had in the past had tied a lot of vision to, I know I'm destined to make a lot of money. So what's my $1 million idea? What's my thing, right? How can I, I was always trying to take whatever felt good and then way too quickly turn it into a business. Like that was my thing. So for me, it was like, well, if I won the lottery, what kinds of things would I want to do? How would I spend my time? And that really opened me up to helping me find my vision. So for you, if you didn't have to help everyone, if being of service, didn't matter, what would you do? Now, interestingly enough, both of my things, whether it's winning the lottery or if nobody needed my help, what would I do? They're still the same. They're still the same things, because I would do it because I freaking love doing it. I would do it because I am great at it and it's fun and it feels right. That's why I would do it. So, of course, doing it serves everyone involved, because when I am aligned and doing what I'm here to do, everyone is served. I'm served. People who are around me being in my alignment are served, right? Not necessarily because of any one thing I say, although that is beautiful, right? When I'm connected and aligned and I say something amazing and someone that's the best feeling, right? But it has much more to do with not because I found just the right words, but because I was aligned and they met me in alignment. And then we had this magical alignment moment. So, in terms of vision, I'm super curious, what would you do?
Me?
Well, anybody who's watching, but also you, Rachel, because this conversation is so interesting to me, Rachel, because I feel like that's all I've done with you for the past 7 or 8 or 9 years, however long we've known each other, is talk about your vision. And so as you're talking about this vision that suddenly came to you, I'm like, was it really sudden? I've kind of seen this all along. I knew this is where we were going. And I'm guessing many people watching will have the same experience. I understand the power of the moment for you. And I recognize that this vision is not done. It's not done going, growing, expanding. So say more, I guess.
Yeah. So let's talk about this. But first I want to mention this theme that I said with purpose. Your purpose is to be you. Well, your vision is going to include you being more of you than you have let yourself be so far. It's going to be about taking a seat. That's how it feels for me. I'm taking a seat at the table finally. I'm letting myself be enough. and it feels incredible. So, like, for example, Oprah, let's say. I was just talking to Carrie about her last night. Oprah was really gifted orator as a child, a really young child. She would speak at church and she's always really good at talking to people, right? So she got into the news business just pretty randomly. Even though she was really good at it, it's probably why she got the job. But like that wasn't necessarily like her overall vision for her life. It just kind of came up, but she stuck with it and realized, oh, I like having these kinds of conversations better, and steered her career in the direction that felt better to her. And then eventually, she just loved talking to people so much and loved growing and asking questions that she made an intimate connection with an audience worldwide and became a billionaire. Like she really brought her evolution, her interest in spirituality beyond religion to the masses. Like that's really what she did. And you think sometimes like in the work that we all do, like the arts and the spirituality part, like, well, there's no money in that. But there's billions in that. Like you being you, your alignment is what draws wealth and abundance to you. But if you don't believe in yourself, then you don't get to keep it, or you don't get to allow it. So believing in yourself, self-acceptance, self-love, knowing that you are worthy, doing whatever it is that lights you up, that is the magic formula. And, you know, same for, let's say, J.K. Rowling. Now, she's not a perfect human. No one is transphobic, right? Like, I'm not saying, like, be like her. But here's a woman who was working in a really difficult job, like trauma, lots of trauma, and was very unwealthy, wrote the books that were in her head, and became a billionaire, an author billionaire, a talk show host billionaire. Like these aren't things that you envision for yourself necessarily, but when you're in alignment with yourself and you have your vision and you let yourself go there, that's what's possible. So I just want to say that, like, when I was looking at, I always knew as well, I don't need to worry about money. I'm going to be fine. I'm going to be a public figure. I didn't know how, but that just from birth, I had that. But then I was thinking, as this was all coming together, this like Institute of Multidimensional Living, where I get to have the conversations that excite me, like representation for extrasensory experiences and showing psychics in the world as positive, you know, creatures and helpful people in entertainment, and creating more books and characters about people like that, and really opening up that for people all over the planet who are having these kinds of experiences and not really knowing where to go, who to talk to, but also a place for my teaching and my coaching, helping people have experiences of validation and self-acceptance for their children and for themselves if they were told growing up like this isn't real, you know. Anyway, just a really welcoming place for the people who are experiencing this kind of thing on Earth, but also for my multi-dimensional friends who are already quite into this, and my non-physical friends who want to keep contributing to the planet, like blog posts, videos, channelings, like interaction between these worlds. Like that's what I was built for. Like that is where I'm most natural. My most natural self is that. And it's weird to think that your most natural self is what's actually your biggest vision, your biggest wealth opportunity, right? So I have like this whole big list here of like what I want to do with this and my why and my how and all of these things. And it's just like, oh yeah, I've been preparing for this my whole life. And it feels like surrendering at the same time, because there's no pretense, there's no trying, there's no manipulation. Not that I would ever try to do that, but like, it's just it's where I get to like settle into myself and just be me. And that is what is the outcome. Like, that's a possible huge impact for the world. And it comes from me knowing that I myself, where I'm at right now, is enough. And that's incredible.
Okay. I have so much to say, but first, you said something that I thought was really powerful, and I wrote it down. So if you guys didn't catch it, be more of you than you've let yourself be so far. Right? Like, that's what Rachel's talking about. She's talking specifically about her vision. But Rachel, one of the new things that I heard you say, I heard you articulate it, right? You've probably been saying it to me for a while. It's like, oh, to be the, I've already lost the words you used, but like to be the intermediator, to be the place that connects all the worlds, right? It's like, oh yeah, you have been doing that your whole life, right? And I love that you're talking about what you're creating. I've been envisioning what we're creating as a place for the humans to gather. It had not occurred to me that it is also being asked for from, I'm going to say the other side, but from the multiverse, right? Like, that there's more than just us wanting this. And anyways, that gets me really excited about this vision. And it gets me excited for you because, yes, that's why you're here, right? Since a very little, I mean, I don't remember if it was 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, you saying, for sure, when we were channeling Dina, you saying like, yes, when I was little, I was the person that people went to talk to dead relatives or to do whatever. Like, this is something that you have been since forever. And same with the Oprah story. I think what is important is that we are all, isn't it fun that we get to evolve into where we started? And this is something I remember Jerry Hicks would talk about. And he would say, really, at the end of the day, that whatever it is that you were and wanted most when you were a small child, the essence of that, like, you're always going to get it. And if you can allow yourself, I'm yawning, to receive it, and that is just being more of yourself than you've let yourself be so far. And so for me, I have struggled in the past with the word appropriate, right? Like, I don't know if it would be appropriate to do that. But going back to the Oprah story, what I want to say about that is that, right, she originally, where could she be her most authentic self? It was in church. That was like that was the opportunity that was most available to her to get up and speak. And then where was it? Well, the opportunity that was most available to her to be more of herself was to be a newscaster. But I've seen interviews of her saying like, yeah, it should have been like, that should have been the thing for me, but I didn't feel authentic. And then she specifically talked about one time when she was like reporting on something and she like broke, basically. Like, she stopped being a newscaster and started being herself. And that was like a huge success moment for her. When she stopped trying to be, she would always pretend to try and like channel her inner Barbara Walters, right? When she stopped looking to examples. And I think this is hilarious because who have I looked to? Like Oprah. Like, I want to be like Oprah. I want to be like Oprah. I don't have to be like Oprah, right? Because she can be like an example of someone who, as they became more of themselves, became a billionaire. But like, when we look to, and this happens in the coaching industry a lot, I'm sure it happens in most industries, where they say, look to someone who's successful and do what they did. And yes, if what they did was to be more of themselves than they've allowed themselves to be so far, then do that. But in terms of like follow their exact career path, no. So, but what happened for Oprah? She was a newscaster. There was no such thing when she became a newscaster. There was no such thing as a talk show, right? And then suddenly there was this thing that was a talk show. And so she got one of those. But even that didn't feel super authentic. Like it evolved. And she slowly gave herself permission to be more of herself. And the more she did that, the better it felt. And the better it felt, the more successful she became. And so I want to say that to everyone, because it's easy to sit here and be like, cast a big vision and you know, go for it and write the next Harry Potter or become the next Oprah. But both of these people, they just followed their own alignment.
Yes. And in my, so, you know, I coach people in group formats and privately, and I've done that for a long time now. And honestly, since I was in school, like I was the natural counselor, right, of my friend group. But when people make big advances toward their vision is when they focus on softening up, self-love, meditation. You got to break up the momentum that you have going on now and allow in that higher dimensional energy in order to build more capacity to be yourself here, right? You got to make the space for that. And you know, meditation 10, 20 minutes a day to white noise or to listen to your breath. You're really wanting to just let that multidimensional energy sink in. You'll probably feel a little bit of a shift when that happens. That's not stopping your positive momentum. That's stopping your negative momentum. And that's what we really want to focus on as we're letting ourselves be more. Because the only reason we're not being more is because we think it will be harmful to us. And that's okay. Like, there's nothing wrong with where you're at this precise moment. You are in the perfect position. You've built a personhood to respond to the world in the way that you think is most helpful to you, right? So there should be no worry or shame or I'm not where I want to be. Like, you are in the perfect place. And now if you want more, you just need to make more space, right? So meditating, doing more of what you love, appreciating what is already going well. These things sound really trivial, but they are the things that can help you allow more of what you want. And I know for Judy, we've done a lot of work as a group. Like, you know, I brought up vision today, and then I brought up billionaires. Why did I bring up billionaires when I'm talking about vision? Well, when you're in your aligned, authentic vision, living that life, you are going to become a billionaire. Unless you work really hard to not be, right? You give all your money away as fast as it comes, which is really difficult when you're attracting $1 billion. Or you're at least going to be extremely wealthy, because you can't be channeling your aligned high dimensional energy in that amount and not let in wealth. Wealth is the same vibration as love. If you're channeling the love that you are, the love of the universe, and you're naturally being yourself, that money is going to slip in. And so you got to be okay with making a lot of money. It's up to you what you do with it, of course, but money's going to come with realizing your vision unless you do a lot to stop it. So, like, meditation, self-acceptance, softening up those beliefs that you've been carrying with you for a long time, that's all going to help everything. It's also going to help your abundance.
Okay. I feel like me and everybody else watching and listening needs to hear that again, because I think that was pretty powerful. And also, to me, it was motivating and humbling. So say again the connection between money, love, and the highest expression of yourself.
Okay, so we live in a vibrational world. Words don't mean anything, right? It's how we feel. And if you think about, like, how would I feel with an unlimited amount of money? I feel happier. I feel free. I feel lighter. I feel excited. I feel like interested. I'm curious about that. But I feel really good. And if I were to sit in that feeling longer, I know for me, it feels like being loved. It feels like being embraced in a warm hug. Unlimited money to me feels like, ooh, I'm taken care of. Like I'm in some kind of womb, right? And let me see, what does it feel like to live my ultimate expression on this planet? It feels like that womb again, but it feels even more exhilarating. It feels exciting. It feels loving. It feels very many of the same things that unlimited money feels like. What was the other thing? Love. What does love feel like? Well, love feels like I'm being embraced. If I feel light, I feel very relaxed. I feel curious. I feel there's not even a word when I get to love. It's like, I just feel it. I just feel so good. And to me, they're not identical feelings, but there's 90% overlap for me in how they feel. And so if you're allowing your ultimate expression, your authentic expression, you can't do that and not feel that way. And so if you're feeling that way often, not even all the time, but often, you're also going to feel love in your life, and you're also going to allow in a lot more abundance because it's the same vibration and it's about matching vibrations. You get what you match. So at that point, even if you have some limiting beliefs about money, it's going to find a way in because you are expressing yourself authentically and feeling amazing. So you can't have your hands up as much all the time as you do now. So focusing on you and what makes you feel happy and expressed and natural and authentic and just like, yes, I'm just being me in the world, that lets in more money.
Thank you for that, because to me, it helped me in a way. It helped me surrender to more of my authentic expression. Money's a big motivator for me. And so when you said you can't like be living your fullest, most expressed, I don't know, whatever you said, life, and not like let money in, not receive some money, I was like, oh, dang. Huh. Okay. Challenge accepted. Show up, right? It gave me a little, like a shot of bravery to stop self-censoring, to stop playing small, to stop like all of the stories we tell and excuses right? Because money's a big motivator for me. And so all the other things you talked about feel amazing, of course. But I know, at least for me, sometimes I deny myself all of myself for reasons of appropriateness or reason, right? Like who knows, right? Just like you said, it would be too weird. Be too weird to channel intimate alien. That would be too weird, right? And yet here we all are completely in love with you and her, right? Anyways, it really did. Thank you. It really did help me feel it. Actually, what it did is it gave me permission to even more listen to myself, listen to my inner desire to do everything we're always talking about. It another layer just shed. So I hope that was helpful to everyone else as well. But even if it wasn't, thanks. It was helpful for me.
Yeah. And what I like about that is like, okay, self-expression, love, abundance. Yeah, they're all mixed, but you can lead with whichever one feels most comfortable to you. With Carrie, it's abundance. With me, it's self-expression, right? And love. But I would even put love secondary to that. And I love examples. So let's say you focus on self-expression and the money comes in and the love comes in. It doesn't mean that you're automatically then going to allow all of it. Like, I love Anthony Bourdain. Are you familiar with him?
Oh my gosh. Yes. My husband's in love with, well, not in love with him, but my husband loves him.
Yeah. So Anthony Bourdain, and he has passed on. Actually, we should channel him sometime.
Oh,
I did get to meet him once in New York at a book party. But he started his career by writing an article for what was a small paper at the time, the Village Voice, about like behind the scenes of the restaurant industry. And he kind of like broke into the mainstream just by writing this little article. He wasn't a writer. He didn't know what he was doing. Like,
he was a cook.
He was a cook. I think he just kind of did it for his mom. Like, it was just like I think I'll just do this thing. Like Oprah. I think I'll just be a newscaster. Anna Wintour. I don't know what to put on this application. I'll just put fashion editor. Like, right. Your higher self's got your back, right? It's feeding you the answers. So just go with it. But anyway, that started a huge thing. Then he wrote a book, and then he had countless television shows where he would literally show up and be himself and not the typical television host, not do anything but be authentic. Like, I remember watching so many shows where he's like out on a boat. They're supposed to catch a fish, bring it in and cook it. And he's like, you guys, like, the producers gave us this fish. We couldn't catch any fish. It happens every single time. Like, he was so honest, and yet still suffered with some issues, like substance abuse issues. So it's not like you get to stop working on yourself, right? We still need to focus on love. We still need to focus on self-acceptance and abundance and tend to our vibration. But millions of people love the guy. He has more abundance, right, than he can count. He's got self-expression down. And so we can see, like, these things travel in packs because it's the same vibration, but you get to still decide what to do with that and how you internalize that. If you go into this without really having that self-love piece first, it's never going to feel right. You're never going to feel like you deserve it, which happens to a lot of people who get really famous. And so focusing on you and your vibration and self-love and doing all the things we always talk about, that will accelerate your journey, and it will also make it so that you accept it when it's there for you. Oh, did Queen Elizabeth just die? Oh, I saw this morning that she was ill.
Yeah,
I just know Aquamarine Dragon.
It was just before I had a call right before this, but just before that, I happened to catch a little bit of the news, and it was saying people were flying in. Yeah. And I asked my husband, I was like, oh my gosh, is she sick? Like, no one had seen her in a while, but I mean, let's just shift gears really quickly because, well, we don't even have to. Like, I'm a huge fan of The Crown and Queen Elizabeth and her vision for her family and her legacy and all of it. Anyways, I guess it's just all I want to say about her passing is, man, did she live into what she thought her purpose was? 100%. 100%. She lived into her purpose. Yeah.
I don't know much about her. I haven't watched any of those shows.
Okay, Rachel.
But I, respect, mad respect, of course.
So let me just give you my my limited. Well, one, I think it's so interesting that the whole world is fascinated by the British royal family, right? Like, let's just, well, at
Oh,
least
some people, most people.
a lot of the world is fascinated by the British royal family, but Americans in particular. And I think that's interesting. Like, I'm not fascinated with the Spanish royal family, or the Spanish have a royal family anymore. Probably not. Point is, I don't know. And yes, so her story is that she was never supposed to be queen. Her uncle abdicated the throne. Like, she didn't grow up thinking that she was in line to be queen. But when it became her reality, um, she and her father felt a deep sense of duty and obligation. And many times in her life, um, she has had to make difficult decisions where I'm sure it came down to alignment, about what she wants to do personally versus what she believes she's meant to do. And yeah, it's just interesting. I mean, I'm watching all of this on a Netflix series plus what I know from history, so take that with a grain of salt. But yeah, mad respect for that woman and her lifetime of finding her balance and her alignment. And I love, one of the things I love about her is that, because she's just like a normal old lady, right? Except for she's the queen and has grown up in like total opulence. But she always wore really, really bright colors, because that way people would know she was the queen instead of like just some other little old lady going down the street. I love that.
That's so cool. Well, yeah, I wore my new sweater today because when you are living into your vision, you do naturally fall into more of your authentic self-expression. Carrie and I both read a book last month or so, that said, like, have your what did he call it? Your something outfit. Do you
Oh,
remember?
like a power suit? I don't remember what he called
Yeah,
it.
like your version of a power suit, like you and your potential realized. What does that look like? And this is it for me. I saw this sweater and I was like, yep, this is it. And I sent Carrie a picture of it, and it says expand your mind. And I don't usually like things with words on it, except for Intimate Aliens quote, do only what you love. And I thought, oh, this is like pretty inconspicuous. Like, you can't really tell. And it's cashmere and it's soft and it's wonderful. And so I ended up buying it. And I love it. I love it so much. Sometimes you like, or for me, sometimes I buy things. I'm just like, I don't know why I bought that. I don't really like it. But like, I saw this and I was like, I'm really, really, really going to like it. And I do. So what I love about this idea of stepping into your vision, which means you giving yourself more permission to be you, is that it takes care of everything. You're more clear on what you want to be doing every day, how you want to look, who you want to talk to, the feelings you want to allow into your life, and resources come to you because you're letting them. So stepping into yourself is stepping into your allowing of ease, of clarity, and it really just solves all your problems. I mean, that sounds a little extreme, but solutions live at a higher vibration. And so if you allow yourself to live at a higher vibration, the solutions can come to you. Doesn't mean you won't have questions or obstacles or problems, but it will mean that pretty much as soon as those arise, the solution arises too.
I love that you said step into your vision. And you stepping into your vision today meant putting that sweater on. And I think that that's really important. And so that's a question that I would like us to ask ourselves right now is like, what actions can I take to literally step into my vision? Like, do I need to take myself somewhere? Do I need to go to a place so that I can step into my vision, so that I can feel myself fully embodied? Like, do I need to go stand at the ocean or surround myself with these kind of people? Or do I need to buy that sweater and like literally step into it and put it on? This is a little symbol of that for me. Like, I bought this necklace. I think it was the first, to me, it felt like the first opulent purchase that I had made. It was not, by my today standards, not an opulent purchase. But back at the time that I bought it, it was. And I knew it was going to be a symbol for me. It was going to be like, when I think someone asked me, like, what does a wealthy woman look like? Or it was something about like, look in the mirror and look at yourself and say, this is what a wealthy woman looks like. And for me, this was like symbolic of that. It was like, oh, as a wealthy woman, I'll wear this. And then the stone itself, I think, has something to do with attracting wealth. See, I can't even remember anymore. It doesn't matter. What matters was like, that was symbolic for me. And I wear this almost all the time because it helps me feel like the embodiment, right? It helps me every time I put it on, right? I am stepping into that elevated vision of myself. So if there's something that you can physically do to do that, great. I also one time worked with a healer, and she's like, all right, let's do it. And we like just went through the motions. We like unzipped whatever energy I was in. I stepped out of it. And then I created the energy of what I wanted to be. I unzipped that and I stepped into that, right? Like I just love that. I like playing with things like that. Like the idea that you can physically step into it right now. So what does that look like for you?
And it's already you. Like, the thing that I like reminding myself and everyone around me who wants to know is that you, like, let's take a look at my sweater. Okay. Here is who you think you are. This is who you really are. And this is all authentic you. Every last stitch of it. If you have any kind of doubt or worry or limiting belief, that is in the tiny little pinky nail of this. How big is that tiny little pinky nail in comparison to the all this, right? The real you. Not very big. It's just that you're so used to focusing there that you think you need to do all this big energy work in order to change or allow more or realize your vision. But your vision is realized by all of this. So do whatever feels good. That feels playful. It feels easy. It feels very fun. It feels exciting. If that feels right to you, do that and then don't look back. You don't need to focus on what you think is in your way because there's literally nothing in your way. It's just, where are you looking? Look into your vision in a way that feels good, and that is where you will go.
Yeah. Amen to that. It's always so simple when we have these conversations, Rachel. Like, it's so simple. But I really love, I'm going to go back to what you said, be more of you than you've let yourself be so far. That feels really good.
Yes. And that will happen naturally if you focus on self-acceptance and self-love. Like, so let's give an example. For a long time, I felt like I really wanted to be more of me, my multidimensional self, on my own Instagram, right? I see other people doing it. I follow accounts that are really open about that. And I was like, oh, why don't I do that? I should do that more. And just something wasn't really clicking. Like, I just kept posting gardening content and my cats, which was great. But then I did post something multidimensional and it did great. And I was like, oh, I guess it's really not that. But I kept thinking, oh, I'm playing small, I'm hiding. I came up with all these excuses as to why I wasn't doing it, but then I did it and it was fine. And then I realized, oh, well, this just isn't really the place I want to do it after all. Like, I want to do it in a different way. It's not that I'm holding myself back. It's that I wasn't allowing myself to receive the bigger vision yet. And I got to that. I got to the posting of the thing and I got to the bigger vision by relaxing and letting it go. You can't bulldoze yourself into your vision. It doesn't work. It's very difficult. So again, you're good. You're good. Your higher self's got you. You've got the vision. It's you. You were born with it. You just got to take a little rest from trying so hard. Let it all go. And then it's right there for you to see. I love that this has become a teaching aid. Who knew?
I was thinking the exact same thing. I love it because I'm looking at your sweater. You're literally in your vision. You're literally already in it. It's already there. It's all around you. Like, it's already there. It's already around you. So where are you focusing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Abraham says, stop doing the thing that keeps you from having what you want, that keeps you from allowing your cork to float. Like, you're already swimming in it. It's just like you're looking in the wrong direction. And that's an easy fix. Let it be easy. Let it be easy. Let it be, oh, I can relax into myself, and that's where I'll find it.
And Abraham talks about paddling upstream, right? That you're in this boat, you're in this canoe, and you're working so hard, and you're rowing so hard, and it's hard, and that things happen when you just let go of the oars and finally let the stream take you where it's been trying to take you. And I think that we've been taught, right? Paddle hard, and eventually you get there. And I don't know, for me, that's the example of your sweater, right? Is like, just stop paddling. You're already in it. You're already in it. Just let it take you where you want to go. And it makes me think of how many stories we've heard of people who have a vision for a family, a vision to have children. And then they run into all these problems because they try. And then when they stop trying, they relax, or they take a route, right? Maybe their path of least resistance to their family is to go through adoption or some other means. Oftentimes, right? Like within a month of adopting, they're pregnant. And that's because, yawning. They let go of the oars.
I've actually been doing that a lot, like for the past 2 months, just like that visual of like, I'm throwing up my oars, I'm throwing up my oars, I'm throwing up my oars. I've done that countless times lately because it's so helpful to just like, right, I'm getting in my own way. Throw up the oars. Yeah.
And it feels so good. It feels so good to remember, oh, I'm already living here. Whatever I'm doing, that thing that I'm doing that's not working. And I want to say this because I know we're almost out of time.
Yeah.
You guys, Rachel spent, like, she's been talking about this vision that's come to her. And I'm like, well, I mean, it's always sort of been here, right? But this, like, suddenly it has a whole different energy.
Mm-hmm.
It has a whole different energy. That came, though, after how many straight weeks of, like, throwing up the oars? I mean, a lifetime of throwing up the oars. But, like, you were in a place where you were like, listen, my only job right now is alignment. Like, I'm meditating.
Yes. Yeah. And so let's tie this all in. I found a property that inspired me into this vision. And even without owning the property, this vision exists. It was always there. It just helped me to see it. But because I got the structure of really my life, my business down now, that's what my vision has descended into, this structure of how I can organize everything. It only makes sense. What is, vibrationally real is physically real. This house is also the structure and is a retreat center. It's the house of all of these things that the Institute is doing. And it's going to be mine. I don't know exactly the route that it's going to take, but I am going to be organizing a crowdfunding campaign for part of it because we got most of it covered, but I really would love to offer some perks, some buy-in so that people can feel really, really connected to this as much as I do. And I'm going to be also offering like coaching and services that I haven't ever offered before as a part of it. So if you guys are interested in working with me with a reading or a session or in coaching capacities, then I'm going to have an awesome opportunity for you coming out soon, which will help us build our vision of the physical property. So I'm really excited about all of it. Like, nothing isn't multidimensional. Everything is multidimensional. And so when you get ideas, the physicality is born. And that is so much fun. That's why we're talking about love, self-expression, and money, which used to be physical. Now it's mostly digital, but same difference, right? It's all related.
I'm just writing down notes. I got nothing left to say, Rachel.
I know. I feel complete too. This was fun. I enjoyed it.
To me, this was, sometimes our conversations are like really, really fun. So I'm glad it was fun for you. For me, it was solidifying. Lots of times when I do drawings about what I need, you know, like what will help take me to the next step, I get a lot of black in my drawings, which black is certainty, and it is like that solidifying thing. So that is how today's conversation felt, very black to me in all the right ways.
Yeah, that's how it's felt to me. It's felt like I feel so much more grounded in everything. It feels great. So,
which means we're on the right path.
yes, absolutely. All right. Well, if you would like to share your vision with us, we'd love to hear it. You can comment on the post I made on Facebook or Instagram, or leave us a comment here. Reach out if you have any more topic ideas. We'd love to hear them. And yeah, we'll have to get Anthony Bourdain in on a conversation really soon. So lots of love, everyone. Thank you for coming. We really appreciate you. And thank you, LH and Yehudit and Aquamarine Dragon, for coming.
Love you guys.
Bye.